Amen. Thank you so much, sister. Okay, how many of you are afraid of prophecy? Only one? Prophecy, okay, little bit. Okay, prophecy. Okay, today we are going to touch prophecy only. Actually, we are going to concentrate on the most important prophecy. How important in sense, in Bible, nearly like 7 times this one prophecy is coming. So see, in different verses with different words, you have this prophecy. We are going to touch that prophecy, but this is not a prophecy class. I'm not going to deal completely on prophecy. For example, today in history, we will see, which part we are going to learn today. I have already written French Revolution. So which portion you will be learning? BC and AD? No. 2300 days? No. See, this is a big prophecy, okay? This is a big prophecy, and in this big prophecy, you will just learn this portion today. Only that portion today. Pius 6. Pius 6. Pope Pius 6. Okay? Only that portion of prophecy we are going to deal today. It is linked with French Revolution. But it is going to be really lengthy. So you need to really focus. Shall we start? Ready? Okay, what are the 3 conditions? No other books, no mobiles, and especially no talking. If you feel sleepy, what do you have to do? Drink water, go back. No talking. Okay. So, when the time of reformers, especially Martin Luther, what happened? People started asking, today we are going to, we wanted to talk about French Revolution. That is the main focus. But before that, what happened in France? I'm just giving you the background. Normally, we don't do it combinedly. We have this history class separately and we do that prophecy class separately. But since we don't have so much of time in this course, we are just combined it. Okay, I'm going to be really fast. If you can't understand, please raise up your hand. I'll try to slow down a little bit. Okay, just focus. It's going to be simple. Okay, don't worry. If you don't get anything, don't get scared. You have Sundays. You have Saturday evening we are busy. Okay, Sundays you can just come over and I'll teach you again. Okay, if there is any problem. For somebody who are very new to prophecy, this may be little hectic. Okay, so don't worry. We will do it on Sunday if I am free. Okay, if I am there. Okay, so today's memory verse would be like Isaiah 46, 9 and 10. It says like God knows everything. Okay, that part you will only memorize. I'm not going to go through that. Today we will focus mainly on what happened in France. Okay, who all played a major role for France Reformation. That we will just see as a story, and then we will get into directly French Revolution. Okay. Okay, so in Martin Luther's time, everyone started asking questions like about the Roman Catholicism. Because Martin Luther, John Wycliffe, Hudson Jerome, they are telling completely different. And Catholic are preaching, popes are preaching in a different way. So they all started questioning this. What is truth? Okay, whether we have to follow this or that. Like that, they had so much of questions. During that time, there is a man named Jacques, okay, Leffer, he played a major role. He was so dedicated a Roman Catholic. So what he did is, he went to shrines. What is shrines to shrines? Shrine means what? They will go to church from church. Okay, all Catholic church, they call it as shrine, okay. He used to go to every church. He used to pray. He used to preach. He was so dedicated. And because he was so earnest to the Roman Catholic belief, his friends or his fellow monks, okay, they all got so jealous about him. So they wanted to find, because he is only doing some extraordinary work, what others are not doing. He is so earnest and he wanted to make sure that people understand Roman Catholic properly. There is no fault in this. This is not a heretic. So he wanted to prove that. So he is doing all this extracurricular activities. He is going to church just to explain. So his friends thought like they got so jealous of him. So they wanted to find some fault on him. They wanted to see whether he is also a part of reformer or what. We have to watch him very closely. If there is even single fault, we will immediately put him to death. So they were trying to watch him so closely. But when it comes to religion, there is no fault in him at all. Okay, so one day what happened? He thought, okay, people have no respect for Roman Catholic popes anymore because of Martin Luther and other writings. So he thought, we will write about the holy life of saints, how the saints are living. We will start writing. When he thought to write that holy life of them, he wanted more information. So just to get information, what he did? He started studying his Bible. He just wanted to go through the Bible. Oh, how saints of the past were, how saints are now. Like that, he just wanted to do a comparison and he wanted to start writing. When he started reading the Bible, it was shocking to him, because the lifestyle of the holy saints in the Bible times are completely different from what the life of the saints living now in Roman Catholic. So he got so amazed and he started studying the Bible more and more and more. He never used to close the Bible. That's what it says today's lesson. He never used to shut the Bible. It was so interesting for him. And finally, he came to understand the just shall live by faith. Okay, he did not rebel openly, but he knew. He is the foremost teacher in Paris University. Which university? Paris University. He is the foremost teacher. So he started teaching in his class to all the students, but very confidentially. Okay, not go tell everywhere. No, he did not tell like that, but very confidentially, cautiously, without making a big mess of the problem. He was teaching his students, just shall live by faith. And when he was doing that, a man, William Farel, he is very younger, nearly like 36 years younger than Jack was, but still their spirit was so inseparable. Okay, they were like twins only. Okay, he joined with him. He spent so much of time with him. They both studied together. He explained what the roles played by these two people means. Actually, Jack was teaching inside the class, but William was spreading it outside the church. Okay, he was preaching outside the church. So what John Cliff was to England, he was a morning star, right? Understanding? Yeah. Like same wise, these two people were the morning star for France. Okay, so France was getting ready to get the information. Okay, but what will happen when we are growing strong in ministry? Danger will come, no? So the Pope came to know what happened. They banished these two people from the country itself. For a period of time, they were like morning star. They were giving actually he introduced a tract, a small tract, and he delivered to everyone in the France. So that got world fire and everyone started reading this. He made it even simple. Whatever Martin Luther made, whatever John Wycliffe made, this person made it even simpler. So people got it and they understood in a very easy way. They all started following this and they started opposing Pope and Roman Catholic beliefs. Then Pope and Catholicism, they wanted to banish both of them from the country. Okay, but no problem. Even then, they both got shut out. Another person God was making ready, he was John Calvin. Okay, John Calvin, 1509 through 1564. He is a strong Catholic believer. He's a very strong Catholic believer. He had no interest towards Martin Luther's theory or his beliefs. Okay, he was very staunch and he heard the doctrines about Martin Luther, but then he was not at all believing those things. He was so strong in salvation through works. Okay, all outright works, even though he did not have any peace in his heart, but still he was believing so strongly whatever Roman Catholic beliefs said. So one day he met with his cousin. His cousin name is Robert Oliveton. He is cousin of John Calvin. Okay, his cousin was a believer of John Wycliffe. Too much of names? No. Getting confused? No? Okay, clear? Okay, he is a believer of John Wycliffe. So when they both spent time together, Robert Oliveton, he shared his beliefs. Okay, what Bible is telling, why this is wrong, why we have to follow in that way, why just shall live by faith, all these things. Initially, he rejected. But then even though he rejected, those words were so strong. So he was taught, meditate upon those things. And in a college, he just, in 12 years, he got admitted as chaplain. Okay, he was so dedicated to religious things. So then he went to university in Paris. And there he had a teacher, Cordier. Okay, he was his teacher and they both were so thick friends. Cordier also learned that just shall live by faith because they all studied the Bible. Then John Calvin, he himself started learning the Bible. When he saw then Roman Catholic Church or the Pope, when they put everyone in stake, when they burned people, stating that they are heretic, these people had so much of peace in their face. There is no hurriness, there is no confusion, they were not at all worried, they were happy, joyful, peace, calm. They did not curse anyone, they did not curse the Pope. So all these qualities, John Calvin got so attracted. What do they have? Why they have such a kind of peace in their soul? I wanted that peace. So John Calvin started to study his Bible by himself. Okay, before itself, what happened? Robert Oliveton has told so many things to John Calvin, right? So he had all those informations already. Now he started studying the Bible himself, and he also found out that just shall live by faith. Where is it? Very good. Romans 1:17. Okay. But he did not do anything outright. One day what happened? They had a festival for all saints. What do we call that now? Halloween. Okay. During that function, his friend wanted to do a presentation. Okay. For doing that presentation, John Calvin was helping. The theme of the presentation was Christian philosophy. Okay. Christian philosophy. When he was helping to do that, other friends came to know that he is also believing in Protestantism. He is not faithful to Roman Catholic belief. Once the friends came to know that, what happened? They wanted to tell this to Pope and they wanted to arrest him immediately. So the officers came to arrest him, but one of the faithful friend, he told, somebody is coming to arrest you, better you go, you escape and go. Okay, so through window he escaped and he went to Geneva. And there he was with Jacques Lever. Who is Jacques Lever? Who was the foremost teacher in university, right? The first person. So he went there, he studied with him, and he was doing so much of translations, and they were working together. Not only these people like John Calvin or Jacques, not only these people, there are so many other peoples. Louis D. in France, in Switzerland we have Zwingli, in Scandinavia we have Olaf and Johnson we have, and in Denmark, they had so much of reform. How they did the reform in Denmark? They started singing. Actually, what is the practice in Roman Catholic? Only the choir people will sing the songs. All others will be very quiet. They don't sing. They don't enjoy. They don't praise. They don't do anything. They'll be quiet. But in Denmark, after receiving this truth, just shall live by faith, they cannot keep themselves quiet. So they started praising. They started singing. So like this, Reformation was happening everywhere throughout Europe. In Switzerland, Scotland, everywhere, Denmark, everywhere. But the problem was France, Germany, everywhere. Few countries, from here only we are getting into the lesson, okay, this is all the background thing. Okay, few countries accepted the truth very happily. They rejoiced over it. Okay, they started to follow the Bible. They abandoned the laws of Pope. But few countries, they rejected. Okay, now when we consider okay, in Scotland, in Netherlands, we have so many people, okay, in England, all these things. When we consider all these things, France played a major role in rejecting. Why? Because the king of France was in dilemma whether to accept or to reject. When he was in dilemma, there were so much of reformers in France. They told, we have to banish the Roman thing completely from our France country. Okay, what they did, they made a flyer. You all know what is a flyer? Okay, they made a flyer and within one night, they posted it everywhere possible. All the streets, all the cities, all the villages, okay, everywhere possible. And one person, I don't know who is that person, but he was so bold enough, he pasted that flyer in the private chamber room of the king. Okay, no one was supposed to go there. Okay, he pasted that in the king's private chamber. This irritated the king so much. How come you can get this kind of boldness? So he thought, we have to eradicate each and every one of the reformer immediately. I don't want any reformer in my country. So France took the opposite direction. Instead of taking God's way, they took Rome's way. Okay, that's where our story starts. Okay, what happened? They got a person who was a reformer prior, but they just bribed him and they threatened him for life, and they told, you have to tell who are following the reformer principle. So because he was so afraid of his life, what he did? Silently, how they did the procession? They will go with so much of soldiers, priests, and everybody will form the line. Quietly they'll go, and this person will go in front. If he sees the Lutherans believers home, he will quietly give a signal. Okay, he will not tell any words, but he'll quietly give a signal. Immediately the soldiers will go inside. They will catch whoever is there. Okay, ladies, small kids, old people, no problem. They'll bring everyone, they will chain, and they will murder. Okay, slowly. That was a big say, like this only they did, and quietly they wanted to do all the. This kind of persecution happened everywhere, not only in France. Everywhere it happened. But why we are focusing more on France? What is the difference between the persecutions on other side and on France? We'll see. In France, it war against the Bible very openly. Okay, and what all happened, we will see slowly. Waldenses were dead. Saint Thomas Christians, the reformers, kings, nobles, women, children, everybody put to death. But not this kind of cruel activity happened there. Okay, in France, a different thing happened. What happened is, they did this massacre for nearly 2 months. This is called Saint Bartholomew massacre. It is the biggest, cruelest, the blackest crime ever in the world. Okay, this is the massacre, and it went for nearly 2 months. Whoever is following the Lutheran principle, whoever is following John Wycliffe principle, they will just chain them and they'll bring it to this place and they'll just murder them. That's all. Okay, nearly more than 70 lakhs of people perished in this particular, from one country, just in France. Okay, and Pope Gregory was so happy about it because he was only forced, the King of France, to do this wicked act. So he was so happy about it, he rejoiced. In fact, he sent so much of gifts to the King of France. Okay, he sent, and to commemorate this activity, they made this medal. Can you see this Pope Gregory's face and the massacre picture on the other side? Okay, this is how they celebrated this massacre. And still they have this picture in Vatican. Okay. Okay, now there is no nobles, there is no Christians, there is no disciples, there is no Bible, nothing. How France will be?
All become Catholics.
Wicked people, they are all wicked now because nobody is to pray also. So everybody, all the nobles, everyone so wicked, so selfish, and the supreme law for them was just to justify and please their appetite. That's all. And the people who were living in that country were literally like slaves only. They don't have any freedom. They cannot talk anything. Nobles owned all their lands. So it was worse, getting worse and worse and worse. Okay, openly, when you have so much of problem and all these things are done by Pope, obviously what the common people will think? They are telling that they are following God, Pope, but he is enacting all the wicked things. So obviously the anger will go to God, right? Okay, they will all hate God. What kind of God is this? Okay, he is not letting us to live peacefully. So they started hating God. They started hating religion completely. They don't want any religion. So they revolted. They revolted and they started burning all the Bibles. Okay, they started burning. I'm talking about the public. Now not the prince or the kings doing. Now the public is doing. Okay, this happened only in France. Okay. They started burning all the Bibles. And now Louis XV, he came. He is the most wicked king again. And he is so sensual monarch. Okay, whenever the councillors come and tell him, oh, there is going to be a revolt, people are not happy, what he will tell you? No. Okay, as long as I live, no problem. Let it continue. I'll just I'll just give some gifts to them, make them cool. Once if I am died, I don't know, I don't have any problem. Let them fight. Let them do whatever they want. That is his comment always. So what happened one time, just to pacify the people, just to cool down the people, he gave a large portion of government representation to the common people. But the common people, the problem was they were not educated. There's no proper education for the common people. Already they were so angry towards Pope. Okay, they were seeing this tyranny again and again. So there is no principle ethic. When without a principle, without proper education, if you come to the higher position, what will happen? Will you have wisdom to rule the country? No, right? So what happened? They wanted to take revenge. They thought, okay, nobles did so much to us, Pope did so much to us, now it is time for us. We have to take revenge to them. There is no security. Everybody was killing everyone. Okay, see? The priests, the nobles, the women, the children, whosoever they don't like, they just murder. There is no thing to control them only. Fully the darkness of the spirit only ruling over France. Okay, this is called the reign of terror. In this time, it was the peak, atheism was peak. They don't have the fear of God. They told there is no God. Okay, this was the very peak, and it started in 1793 July. And during that time, reign of terror, it was the atheism was at the peak, and there is no peace in the country. Whatever France sow, it has to reap now with the blood. Okay, things were so dark in there. Now he is a military officer. He is a military general, Napoleon Bonaparte. He came to the scene. And since they already had so much of hatred towards the Pope and Roman Catholic, what happened? In February 10th, 1798. Okay, after this we will come to the prophecy. Okay, I'm just telling the story now. He sent his general, Berthier, okay, to Rome to arrest Pope. Actually, Berthier got welcomed. Instead of resisting, they welcomed Berthier. They did not know much, so they welcomed him. He went there on 10th to arrest Pope Pius VI, and on 15th he arrested him and he brought him to the France. Okay, from 538 to 1798, this we call as Dark Ages. Why? Because people were kept out of Bible. Okay, papacy was ruling. And it came to end by 1798 by Pope Pius VI. He got arrested, and after 1.5 years he died in France. Now we will get into the prophecy angle. Can you take your Bible, Revelation 11th chapter? This prophecy is coming in Revelation 11th chapter. This is talking about French Revolution. This has been prophesied, and I will tell the history. You just see whether it got fulfilled or not. Revelation 11th chapter. We will go through from verse 2 through verse 11. We will skip few verses in the middle, but then we will go through the rest. Okay? Verse 2.
But the court which is without the temple leave out, and the measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. And the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months.
And the next verse?
And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days.
Okay. Thank you. Here both the things are telling the same thing, 42 months and 1,260 days. Okay. It talks about the same thing. Okay. You know the Bible principle, prophecy principle. 1 day is considered as 1 year. From where we are getting this principle? In Numbers 14:34 and Ezekiel 4:6. In a prophecy, and it is not always, okay? It is not always. Don't think like in all the prophecy it is like that. No, it is not always. For example, when we talk about Jesus, it says like 3 days he will be in the mouth of the earth. But he was just literally 3 days, not 3 years. So this count is not applicable for all the prophecies. Okay, but majority of prophecy will take up this principle, and I'll tell you in the later classes when we have time why we are not taking for all the prophecy. Okay, that is a different subject again. Okay, this 1 day principle we are deriving from Numbers 14:34 and Ezekiel 4:6. It says in Numbers 14:34, after the number of days in which you search the land, even 40 days, each day for a year. So 1 day is considered as 1 year. And in Ezekiel 4:6 it says, I have appointed thee each day for a year. Okay, from this only we are deriving that principle. Revelation 11:3 says it has they have prophesied and 1,203 days clothed in sackcloth. And then we are skipping to 7th verse. 7th verse, can anyone read? 7th verse. 4, 5, 6 we are not doing today. 7th verse. Okay, here we see an important thing. According to the words of prophet, there is going to be a time in this prophecy. Okay, this prophecy is talking about this area. Okay, this full 1,260 years. Okay, this area we are talking about. But prophet says, in this particular time, before we could get to this part, what is going to happen? There is going to be a power which raised to make a war with Bible, upon Bible, the word of God, and in the land where the testimony of God's two witnesses, okay, two witnesses we tell as Old Testament and New Testament, okay, that also how you are coming to that point also we will discuss later, would be silenced by the war. It is telling, this prophecy is telling that two witnesses will be silenced, because what the verse says, it will kill them and it will overcome them. Okay, they will be silenced and there would be manifest atheism of Pharaoh and moral immoralness of Sodom. Okay, what is the problem in Egypt and Sodom? Egypt, what was the problem? Pharaoh asked, who is Jehovah that I need to fear him? Okay, there is no fear of God. They were questioning God. Okay, that was the problem of Egypt. In Sodom, what happened? There is no moral ethics. There is no moral ethics. Okay, in France, they followed the same principle. What happened in France? I will read this para. It's going to be a little difficult, but just see how Satan can use us when we are not God's child, when we are not heeding to his word. Okay, a war against the Bible began era in the world's history, and this is called reign of terror. Okay, no one was secure. Kings, clergy, nobles were executed. Prisons were crowded, more than 2 lakhs of people at a time. This was France's condition. At the same time, they had more than 2 lakhs of people in the prison. See the condition. And they told, they blasphemed boldly beyond the belief, and one priest were asking, God, if you exist, avenge your injured name. If you are there, you only come and defend you. Nobody is going to believe you. That was a priest word. Okay, and then this followed not long after a public burn. They started burning the Bible publicly. And what all got prohibited by that time? God's law was trampled underfoot. The weekly rest. What is the weekly rest? Which day do we rest? Seventh day, Sabbath day. Okay, the weekly rest they prohibited. Instead of weekly rest, they changed that to 10 days. Okay, in 10 days, 1 day you will take rest. Okay, they changed that. And then, in the place of every 10th day, they devoted a partying and blasphemy. What kind of rest they were doing? They were partying, they were blaspheming, and baptism, communion got prohibited. No one could take baptism or communion service. They cannot take part in. No religious, publicly you cannot do any religious services. Okay. Announcements posted in burial places, where all burial places they have, they put like it is an eternal death. There is no hope for you to go to hell or heaven. Okay, that is an eternal death. That was the post everywhere. And the religious worship, all kind of religious worship got prohibited. And the law was made in stating that marriage is just a temporary contract between two people. Okay, there is no any sacredness anymore. If you want, you can get into the relationship. Whenever you feel like you don't want, you can come out of the relationship. Okay, that is how they considered marriage. It is just out of their pleasure they went for marriage. France became totally atheistic and immoral. Okay, this was France's condition. And they crucified all the disciples, all the reformers, all the believers of John Wycliffe, Martin Luther, whosoever they found, all the Lutherans. Okay, they all persecuted them so badly. Especially when we consider, it talks about in Revelation 11, 9 and 10. Can you read? Revelation 11, 9 and 10. Yes. See, this talks about 3.5 days. Okay. What is this 3.5 days? The two witnesses who gave witness for God's word, who stood, okay, they got buried. They died, and 3.5 days they were kept in silence. No, this 3.5 days, since this is prophecy, we know that is 3.5 years. What happened in the reign of terror in France? Okay, during this time, what happened? In November 1793, they passed a decree. The king passed a decree to abolish all religion. Okay, this is the official thing. Okay, it is not somebody's opinion, it is an official thing. Through government, they took an act, and it was to abolish all the religion activity. And after 3.5 years, exactly how prophesied, after 3.5 years, on June, because they saw what all happened. In prison, how many people are there? 2 lakhs of people are there. If they don't have any religious activity, wickedness is going to the extreme peak. Okay, nobody was in a position to control. No kings had power. So they saw what is the fruit. If we go against the law, if we go against God, they saw now. So exactly after 3.5 years, on June 1797, they removed the restrictions of religious activities. This is also made official. Okay, on June 1797. And after that, when 1798, Pope Pius got arrested. Pope Pius VI got arrested, and that is the end of Dark Ages. So this how this French Revolution started. Actually, when it was in the peak, atheism was there. Who actually promoted atheism? What is the agenda? When you will go to the atheism extreme, who promoted? Why they actually did that? Yeah, they build up so much of hatred. They saw these pope, clergy, their laws, the way they live, the luxuriousness, and they don't treat the poor equally. They sell indulgence. All these hypocrite things they saw, and they hated God. Instead of hating papacy, they saw that as God's principle, and they started hating God himself. And they started hating Bible. Okay, that is the peak. Atheism came, and after June 1797, government removed the religious restrictions. But in 11th verse, we all have hope. Revelation 11:11. Can you read? 11:11. This is not the end. We all have hope still, because God is over every power. And the great fear fell upon them which saw them, and they ascended up to the heaven. Okay? See, where they destroyed the Bible, they burned the Bible, but soon after that, okay, 1798, soon after that, what happened? In 1804, as God prophesied, of course, it all happened, but still, after that, in 1804, British and Foreign Bible Society was organized, and similar organization throughout Europe, okay, they organized these kind of Bible organization societies, and in 1860, American Bible Society got founded, and in 1804, not only, Bible was only in 50 languages, okay, Bible was not translated in many languages, but after that, now if we see, the entire Bible is translated to how many languages? 690. I'm talking about the full Bible, okay, Old Testament combined New Testament, okay, and 1500, that is 1548 languages we have New Testament alone. Apart from 698, we have 1548 languages we have New Testament, and apart from that, in 1138 languages we have Bible as portions and stories. Not full Bible, but we have stories, Bible stories, and some parts, portions. So totally in 3,384 languages we have Bible now. Of course, they burned the Bible once upon a time, but still, who won? Always God wins. Okay, always we have hope. Always God's people have hope. Even though there is a time we get to die as a martyr, we need not worry. How the reformers died with calmness and peace and joy, we can go through the same path. That is not going to be in vain. But the final question, when we see about all these problems, where all the problems started? When they don't understand the Bible properly. when they start following man's principle. But now you all have Bible, right? Everyone have Bible, right? Especially KJV. All are having Bible? But how many hours we are spending in reading that, studying that diligently? We have to ask question to ourselves. Because today nobody is going to persecute you if you study this, if you meditate upon it, if you pray to God. Nobody is going to come and persecute you. But this opportunity may not long for a longer time. Again, this persecuting power is going to rise. Okay, now it has ended. Of course, there is a wound. But then Bible prophecy also says this wound will be healed. So soon papal power is going to rise. And you may not have the freedom which you are enjoying today. So whatever time you get, please do use it in a beneficial way. Study the Bible, get closer to God, have intimate relationship with God, spend more time with Bible. Who all studied the Bible diligently, they all found the truth. They were not getting angry towards God. Because they know clearly God's word is telling something different and Pope is telling something different. Who did not study the Bible, who did not have any knowledge about the Bible, they only misunderstood and got angry. And finally, they ended up in destruction. Okay? So let us all make use of the time and let us study the Bible. This is a short story of French Revolution. Today we just covered this part alone. And in next week, we will see the entire 2,300 years prophecy. I think Cheryl ma'am will take that. And in that prophecy, we will cover all the small prophecies also. Okay? Any doubts in the prophecy in French Revolution? 3.5 days, 3.5 years? No? But these, okay, this term and these dates are really important. Okay? The term and the dates are really important. Now we have Bible, so let us all enjoy the Bible. Okay. Hardly we have, yes. Yes, Nepuni. Sorry? 1798, it ended. Yeah, because Berthier arrested Pope Pius V in 1798. That was a wound which happened to while arresting him, what they declared is, after this, there should be no successor at all. Okay, papacy is going to come to an extent. That's what they declared. Okay, France took over. Till then, who were ruling even though everybody has king, okay, in German, in France, everyone had king, but still who were ruling over all of them? Who had the majority of power? Pope, papacy, okay, and who arrested? French military general arrested Pope. Yeah, Berthier arrested who? Pope, who was a higher official. Okay, then during that time, this dark age, and after that, okay, you in a simple term, what was the power they are having here? Now also Pope is the first man of the world, you all know, right? Okay, what was the power he was having during that time and what power he is not having now? Why he don't have power over us now? Exactly. Okay, during that time, he had power over civil and religion. Okay? Now he is just a religious father. He don't have any authority over civil. Slowly it will happen. Yeah. But during dark ages, Pope was higher than king. Okay, Pope was higher than king. He had power over civil matters and also religious matters. That's why it became so persecution that era for us. Sneha, you understood? Easy? Tough? Okay, from where we started the story today? France. Okay, in France, how the Reformation started? Who are the heroes of France? Very good. Who said that? Rengpa? Oh, Simon? Oh, wow. Good. Okay. Good. Okay. Jacques was, and then William Farel was there. John Calvin was there. Okay. They all started. Okay. Actually, William and Jacques was called as morning stars of France. Who was the morning star of England? Wycliffe. Okay. Wycliffe. Who was the morning star of German? Martin Luther. You get the point? Okay. When you study like this, you will never forget. Okay, and today we just, how France started, even though they got the message, they did not accept it, they rejected. Okay, they went against the reformers principle, Bible principle, and that's why they just went so far to atheism. Finally they reaped what they sowed. Okay, this is a very sad history, but still Bible prophecies is true. We have hope now. Okay, shall we pray? Brother Vikram, can you offer the prayer?